Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, Spiritual Gangsters. My name is Johnny, and here guys, we help provide solutions to your spiritual awakening. So today guys, I'm going to talk about 5 signs that you're going through a dark night of the soul. Now bear with me guys as I do this video. I have ADHD and I'm all over the place. Now I'm going to be talking about the dark night of the soul a little bit more on this channel just to help other people who are going through the same type of turmoil, grief, and who can't really seem to figure out what's really happening in their life. Well, guess what, man? You're going through a spiritual awakening. Your soul is calling you. It's a time of initiation. It's a time of a rebirthing of your new version of yourself. But first, I just want to say, man, thank you to the Chief, man. I just did a live. I'll link it down below. So this video is just a follow-up of the things that I did miss, that I didn't really emphasize a lot in. But, you know, we got to start somewhere, man. So like I'm saying, guys, so if you're going through a dark night of the soul, man, just understand, man, that you're not alone. You mean you're just being separated. Right now, at this time of your life, you chose this. Right now, you're being given the keys to eternal life. Right now, you're giving the keys to eternity. And what I mean by that, meaning because you're getting to know yourself. You're being unplugged from the matrix. The veil is being lifted. You're being able to see through the illusion. Your third eye is being activated. But this is the part you need to slow down, take accountability, let things go, and surrender and accept what's happening to you. You're not aligned at this moment. Right now, you're not aligned. You're out of alignment. And right now, your soul is calling you. You chose this time to wake up. You chose this time. And if you're a chosen one, you have a bigger purpose in life. Your purpose is to share with others, to give back to others. So one thing, guys, I want you guys to understand when you're going through this dark night of the soul, a lot of the stuff and this chaos that's happening in your life, this turmoil, this hurting, this nakedness, this feeling of loss, the feeling of confusion, the loss of your friends, the loss of what's no longer interesting, understand it's there for a purpose. You're having an ego death. The old version of you that was once there is no longer. So understand that a lot of stuff is going to be unearthed. A lot of your childhood trauma, a lot of reparenting, a lot of shadow work is going to need to be done. But it's all up to you, your choice. So what I mean by that is, are you going to choose the right path? Are you going to start making the right decisions to start impacting your future reality? One thing, guys, about the dark night of the soul is a lot of the times we don't even know that we're going through them, because you might have many or multiple in a lifetime. You know, for example, like I just realized that I went through a dark night of the soul when back in 2007, when I had my motorcycle accident. You know, I lost an arm. But at that moment, me not being around people to help me grow, to help me evolve, I ended up being the same toxic cycles. So I wasn't able to recognize it. But as well, it was just a phase in my life. It was a phase to get me to the next level, the great awakening. You know, that's when many of us go through this turmoil. Many of us go through this grief. Many of us go through this depression. We go through this loss, not even understanding, not knowing why. But the reason why is because now you're being given the keys to eternal life. You're being given the keys to the universe, gnosis. Now, I know that's very, very hard to see right now. That's very, very hard to recognize. But I do assure you, this too shall pass. Nothing is permanent. Nothing in this world is permanent. So just be patient. Be still. Get to recognize these patterns that you're going through. See what is happening. Stay still, for everything can slow down, because you're all right here right now. And you need to listen to this, because this is what needs to heal. You're getting to know yourself. That's what the ego death is all about. That's what the dark night soul is about. It's to shed that part of yourself, to shed the ego, to reprogram the subconscious mind so you can let your real, authentic, true self come online, which is your higher self. And the only way you're going to get there is by letting go of what's no longer serving you. And another one that I want to mention that helped me out is surrendering. You need to surrender. The faster you surrender, and what does actually surrender mean? Surrender doesn't mean just to give up and lay down and die, by the way. That's not what I mean by surrender. What I mean surrender is just let it be. Let it go. Stop trying to control things that are no longer serving you. Stop trying to control the outcome. Stop chasing. Stop looking and start looking here. Look within. And that's what I mean by surrendering. Because the old version of you, which is your egoic mind, which is what you've been brought up, what you were raised thinking, what you thought was okay. Because one thing that you have to understand as a chosen one is your awakening is different. You've been through some shit. You've been through turmoil. You've seen it. You've been probably more or less raised by narcissistic parents, just like mine. That is the purpose of your incarnation here. That is the lessons you chose here as you came here onto this earth. And just know, by doing all this stuff, you're gonna be able to trust yourself again. A big thing that's helped me get out of this depression was to take accountability. Take responsibility for your actions. Take accountability for the role you are playing in the matrix. And the only way you're gonna do that is by stop being the victim. Go from PTSD into PTG, post-traumatic growth, which means become a solution provider. What is it I need to do right now to get myself out of this situation? What steps do I need to figure out for me to get the outcome that I'm looking for? That's the type of question you need to start asking yourself for you to get out of this turmoil. But the biggest thing that I've realized about depression, it's because you're lacking purpose. When you're lacking purpose, you're just going to be replaying these loops. You're going to be playing the same stories over and over in your head. And that's what you need to break. Because like Joe Dispenza says, when you're playing these records over and over and over, backed with emotion, it's going to stick. It's going to harm you because now you're backing it with emotion and your mind doesn't know the difference if it's real or if it's really happening. So once you start to understand this part of yourself, it's so much easier to let go because you start to realize that this is no longer serving me. So find purpose, find direction, find what is helping you, what makes me happy, what can I give back? What can I do today to be a service to others? Find a new way of being. Because right now in this dark night of the soul, the purpose is to shed everything, to let everything go. You're being handed the keys to the universe. You're being handed the keys to eternal life. And what I mean by that is if you do the healing work, if you do the shadow work, if you look into that inner child and care for it again, if you reparent yourself, and you start to love yourself, I assure you, automatic gnosis. Now that's the narc package that I was talking about. Meaning, because before you incarnate here, understand that you chose this life. You chose to be here. You chose this life for this purpose, to awaken. You chose this time. And when I mean you're a chosen one, it's because you have a bigger purpose here. Your purpose is to shine your light. Your purpose is to give back to others, to share your story, to help, to give, and that was going to help break the depression. But you're not going to be able to recognize that if you're still chasing. You're not going to be able to recognize that if you're still being the old self. If you cannot let go, and if you cannot take accountability for your actions, it's not going to happen. And that's what I mean. Find purpose, find a new direction. Figure out, why am I feeling like this? And these type of questions will help. That was the first one. That was depression. The second one that I've realized is your friends are no longer resonating with you. The same activities and things that once made you happy don't longer. Like I used to watch football. I used to watch sports. I still do from time to time. My son plays soccer and things like that, but they no longer entertain me anymore. Because remember, back in the Roman days, the Colosseum was set. What do they say? Give them amusement, give them a circus, for they can be amused, for they can be distracted from what really is happening around them. It's all a distraction. And this is the type of gnosis that I'm talking about that you're going to gain as you awaken from this dark night of the soul. And just remember, the dark night of the soul is only the beginning to your spiritual awakening. And you're going to have multiple deaths in a one lifetime. And that is being reborn again. When you're able to see yourself from a higher level of perspective, from a higher level of being, without judgment, just to see yourself as is. See the situation for what it is and don't try to fix it. And I'm talking about others, because that's the hardest part as you awaken. You want to go ahead and start telling people this is the way and this is the thing. But at the end, you're going to come to realize everyone is on their own journey. So all you can do is plant the seed. I know I'm jumping a little bit ahead here, but this is the ADHD here, guys. So you have to bear with me. And another thing that's going to help me, I'm going a little bit backwards here, to help with depression, guys, is setting boundaries. Figure out your core beliefs. Like I said before, what is it I like? What is it that I want to do? Because like if you grew up anything like me, meaning codependent, always giving, being a people pleaser, it's when it's time for you, now that you're set by yourself, now that you're out of the darkness of the soul, now that you're figuring out what's really happening to you, meaning you're leveling up, man. You're leveling up consciously. That's a part of the darkness of the soul. If you do the inner work, if you do the inner child healing, if you do the reparenting, if you do the shadow work, it will happen. So, first one was depression. Second one was the releasing of friends. The third one is confusion. Man, confusion. Let me start there. Well, as I awoken, or as I was going through my darkness of the soul, what activated my darkness of the soul was my ex-covert narcissist of 18 years. Once I started to realize that what I was dealing with, once what I was seeing, because you've been gaslit, man. You've been lied to. You've been, the veil is being lifted now, man. Pretty much. Once, I'm sorry I get a little shaky about it, because it was very, very traumatizing, man, to have that betrayal trauma activating you, because now, like, I have a hard time trusting, but I've realized and I've recognized that this is a part of my journey. If I don't fix this, then this is gonna keep me trapped. And these are these spiritual traps that depression is one of them. You know what I mean? Drugs, another one. So we're gonna talk about addictions as well, because addictions are a part of this trap to keep you locked here. And if you do not escape these addictions, then you're just gonna repeat these cycles. And you're not gonna be able to live out your purpose of what you're here to do. Reincarnate again, and you're gonna be living it again. So in order to ascend and ascend consciously, that's what you have to do, is heal these traumas, activate the DNA, and ascend consciously. Christ conscious, as they call it. So like I was saying, man, it's major confusion. So because as I woke up, like I was saying, with the narcissist, I was being gaslit, I was being lied to. So that alone just left me with confusion. So what I believe that did to me, it activated the neuroplasticity in your brain. So now your mind is changing. You're like I said, you're being reborn again, man. You're leveling up, because you're in the darkness. Your shadows are coming up. All your wounds, everything that you once had buried deep down inside is in there. So all that comes up in the journey, in the dark night of the soul, all that's going to come up. All that's going to come unearthed. All that is going to be unearthed. And don't run from it. Face it, look at it, and see what it's trying to teach you. Because if you ignore it, it's gonna come up again. If it doesn't come up right there and then, it's gonna come up in the next relationship that you're in, or it's gonna come up in a different form. So if you're able to face it, bring light to it, bring awareness. Because when you bring awareness to a problem or an issue, it's no longer an issue. Because now you know about it, now you recognize it. So now start making changes to fix that. If these triggers are happening, then that's how you start to fix these triggers, because you recognize these triggers, because now you're aware of them. And that's how you start to trust yourself again. Because like myself, for example, when I came out of this toxic relationship with this narcissist, let me slow it down for a second. Is I didn't trust myself anymore. Because I've been lied to the whole time. So now you've been gaslit. So being lied to, being gaslit makes you deny, because the narcissist is denying your reality. And when the narcissist denies your reality, then you don't trust yourself anymore. So the key there is to start to believe in yourself. Trust yourself. And number 4, guys, that I know is loneliness. You're gonna feel lonely. You're gonna feel alone. You're gonna feel like if nothing's resonating with you anymore. It's because it's not. You're vibing high now. Now you're vibing a different frequency because now you're thinking. You changed the way you're thinking now. So it's okay. And not to mention, you're never alone. Besides spirit being around you and having your ancestors activating your DNA, you're never alone. There is other people who are also going through this just like you. You ain't the only one. Find a tribe, in other words. Find your tribe that vibes with you. Find the people who can help you out. Find the people who can validate your story. Because you cannot heal where you got hurt at. You cannot heal there. That's where you need to separate from those people. And like I was saying, guys, so remember, you're never alone because you're not lonely. You're being separated. You need the separation to grow. You need to be isolated. And you've heard this metaphor many times. The caterpillar turning into the butterfly. It's going to have to go through its cocoon phase. It's going to have to go through its isolation phase because that's the part when you're going to get to know who you are. Know thyself. Understand how you work. Understand why do you react in certain types of way. Why do you feel certain types of things. Learn to meditate. Learn to take conscious breathing classes. Learn yoga. Whatever it is that's going to help you connect to spirit. Because like I said before, because I was never religious. I was not an atheist either, but I just didn't understand the connection to God. Because that's another one that I realized is we need to change what God actually means. Because I grew up thinking God was a sky daddy guy with a magic wand, a big beard, granting wishes. That's what I thought God was. But we're all God, man. The same divine spark that created you, created me as well. So, hope that makes sense, guys. And so, you're never alone, guys. You're just separated. That's all it is. You're just separated for the moment. Separated from the outside, but at the same time, you get to know yourself. That's a key point there. You get to know yourself and grow. And it's a time to start being. And the fifth one, guys, it's going to be a positive one here, is when you start to be able to love yourself unconditionally for who you are. You're able to accept everything you have done in the past and be at peace. I do want to leave you guys with this, guys. It's a quote from St. John of the Cross. The endurance of darkness is a preparation for great light. And if I can do this, guys, I know any of you guys can. And like I said, guys, and I'm really hoping that these signs, or at least me attempting this, help people out there understand what's really happening. I'm doing a different way. I'm going off notes. And as more as I write, and the more better I get at practicing this, I know I'll be able to help others understand their own selves, guys. So the point of this video, and understand that everything it was designed for a purpose. I understand that it's hard to see that now, and you can't see this at this very moment, but understand that there is light at the end of the tunnel. And this too shall pass. Nothing's permanent. You chose this at this moment. Believe in yourself. Trust yourself. Listen to your intuition, to the guidance that's being given to you. The synchronicities are there. Just slow down and pay attention and trust yourself. So until next time, level up.